Good morning. Sorry to interrupt your conversations. Please say pause and you'll get right back to that person. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. It is Sunday, September 14th of 2025, and I am delighted to serve as your senior minister. I use the she, her pronouns. And for those with visual disability, I'm a middle-aged, light-skinned female with light brown, mid-length hair. I wear glasses, and today I have on a stole that has words on it, and you're all going to be wondering, what are those words, those letters? And it says, resist. And this was made several years ago by a former church member. We're still working on it, and I have a fall-themed sleeveless dress on. You, my beloved, are all welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are online, on YouTube now or in the future, we're delighted to have you. If you've made the effort to actually put on some clothes and walk or drive or pedal down to this church, we're delighted to have you here. And if this is your first time with us, please, we want to know who you are. We want to welcome you and find out what you're looking for in your religious journey. We have a welcome desk here in the garden lobby where someone will be happy to get you connected, get your information, redirect you. And if you are online, please check out our website. Down at the bottom, we have a MailChimp form for you to fill out to start receiving our newsletter. But please, send us an email, introduce yourself, and let's get connected. That's what we're here for, is to connect to one another. We are Unitarian, Universalists. We are a liberal religious community where we celebrate who you are, however you arrived, whomever you love, and all the diversity and all the questions that you bring. We are here to celebrate and to connect with one another. Just as you are welcome. If you may have noticed, we're a very active community, so let me tell you a few things that are going on. First of all, for those with the babies, the nursery is open. It is in this back right, your left, my right corner. There's a little door there, and you're welcome to pop in and out. And that please keep in mind that we welcome babies, whatever they have to say. But if you would prefer that they not say it in the sanctuary, that's fine. But I welcome the conversation in whatever form it comes. We are also very excited that we have a new potluck dinner program that's come this fall. There are 10 mystery hosts that have signed up eagerly for this fall. Each dinner will be on a Saturday, and when you sign up to eat at the dinner, you get two dinners, Saturday, October 4th, Saturday, November 8th, with the same group of people, same host. So these are alcohol-free, they're informal, and they'll start somewhere between 6 and 7 p.m. I think that's Pittsburgh time, and they'll last about 2 hours. You can register now, sign up Genius. There'll be a table downstairs during social hour, unless, of course, they've moved social hour to the garden. I don't know. But there'll be somewhere, there will be a table, and we'll be glad. It's downstairs. Thank you. Somebody told me it's downstairs. And that registration is open until the 20th next weekend. So some of you, I know, have all sorts of skill sets, and you're going to hear more later from Kyle Gracie about how we want to get you plugged in with those skill sets, or maybe you want to learn a new skill set. So we need some tech wizards who are back there running this show, for whom we are eternally grateful. Yay, tech wizards. And if you would like to learn, please go talk to them after the show. Get connected. If you are a social bee, we need help with social hour. If you are a social justice-oriented person, we need a coordinator for our social justice program. So all of these, and you'll hear more about how to get connected when Kyle Gracie speaks later during the service. After the service, a few minutes after the service, we're going to do a safety training. This is for anybody, but particularly those who are serving as ushers, our tech wizards, our board members, and please, this is just an update on our safety procedures and policies. That's a lot. And there's so much more. Please check out our website and our calendar to see what else we're up to. And I invite you now to join me for what I always need is a deep breath. I come in with all this energy and excitement, and then I invite you to be grounded with me, to arrive in body and spirit, wherever you are in YouTube land. Be present with a deep breath. Let us feel connected to one another in this time and place, with those who are gathered and worship here in this city, this beautiful place of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. And all across our country, people gather in faith to connect, to learn to be better human beings, to learn how to love a little more fiercely. We turn to our chalice lighting, the symbol of our faith. 2 circles embracing a flame. I offer these words from Reverend Don Cooley. We light our chalice this morning, grateful for the love that we experience in this beloved community. May the flame light the way for all who seek such abundance. Welcome, welcome to you all. I invite you to rise as you're able in body and spirit for opening hymn 322. Thanks be for these. control of the slides today. And if it doesn't go right, it's on me.
Good morning. There we go. My name's Carol Washburn. I'm your liturgist today. I am a in 70s person with graying white, a little bit of brown and blonde hair left, and I have a stark red shirt on. Please join me for our collective reading that's in your bulletin. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We covenant to practice interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. To practice pluralism, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. To practice justice, we work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. To practice transformation, we adapt to the changing world. To practice generosity, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. To practice equity, we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love.
Again, from a third person, I am Erica Shadowsong, Lifespan Religious Education Director. I am wearing a brown head wrap. I have short cropped hair, a dark shirt, brown skin, and glasses. And today we're going to talk about how we are all connected to each other. Before I start that, a little item of business. If you are a parent who didn't get to attend the parent orientation, at noon, I will be in the Priestley room, and we're going to do question and answer. I already recorded the orientation, so I will give you that, so you can just come and ask questions if you have them, and I'll help you register. We're going to just keep it simple. All right, so we're talking about how we're all interconnected, and I'd like to invite any of the young or young at heart to come up, but I'm going to have you sit in the pew, because I'm going to hold up what I'm showing you. So, but you can come up close if you want to see. Right over there, yeah, with the, or here is fine too. Yes, yeah, right there. Good. Or wherever you're comfortable. I love it when people make themselves comfortable here. It's how it should be. Wow, there's so many of you today. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple things. I have this pretty silk shirt. It is maroon, and it's been sitting in my house for a while. Where does it come from? How did I get it? Who wants to take a look and see if they can figure out where this came from? Yeah. A thrift store? It did, but can you figure out who made it? It was made in Indonesia. Thank you. So let's go through the steps of how that shirt got to me. Somebody put it together, the fabric, which came from thread, right? Somebody sewed the shirt, and then what happened? They dyed it. Yeah, very good. I didn't even think about that. Then it got to the US. It got sent to the US. It was probably sold at a store, and then it was given away by somebody who wore it to a thrift store, and then I bought it. So there were a whole bunch of people involved in that shirt that came to me. Thank you. All right, let's try another one. I should say this for last because this is gorgeous. This is a sweetgrass woven basket. Who wants to figure out where this came from? Yeah. You want to look at it together? Yeah, that's totally fine. Rwanda, very good. That was woven in Rwanda. It's made of sweetgrass. If you've never seen sweetgrass, it's really, really tall. And you take it and you braid it. Yeah, you can pass that around. Somebody took that in Rwanda, gathered sweetgrass, braided it around and around and around, and then someone shipped it to the US. And you know how it got to me? It was a gift from some people in this church, actually. We were reading the book, Braiding Sweetgrass, and it was a wonderful book reading experience, and they gave me that as a gift to remember. And if you smell it, it smells really good. And then I have one more thing to show you. This one might be a little sticky. Okay, this is a jar of honey. You guys want to look at that one? Yeah, I don't know if it says on there where it came from, but can you guess? What can you tell about the label? If you look at the front label, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks a little, Jode and honey, very good. I don't actually know who that name refers to. I know the family that it comes from. This was made by our sexton, Dan, who you see out there. I don't know if you know this, but he has a honey making hobby every year. And he gathers this honey with his sister and his family, and they sell it. So this came from bees that are here, local bees. And then my friend Dan and our sexton gathered the honey, and he brought it to me as a gift. So everything that we have, if you start to look at your clothes, if you start to look at your food, you will notice that it comes from somewhere. And we have to be grateful to all, we want to show gratitude to all the people who were part of the things that got to us. So how can we do that? What's a way you can say gratitude to people you might never ever meet? What are something you can do? Yeah.
You could make sure that you don't waste it and just generally get all the use out of it that you can.
Yep.
I guess one thing that you could do to show gratitude would be like, kind of like what my brother said, but also like, just like being like kind to it and not like treating it badly. Don't like throw it in the trash accidentally or something.
You know, I like that. Sometimes the way something becomes sacred is the way you treat it. She can do the sermon today. Oh, you're on for the sermon today, Luda. Just Bernie, right? Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's very good. You can take good care of the item. There's another thing that some people do. Some families do this before they eat. Anybody know? Mateo.
They say a prayer.
Very good. They say something, we often call it grace. They say, thank you for the hands that made this food. Now, there's one more really important thing that people like us can do. It has to do with how those people are treated in our society and in the world. If we see injustice, if we see that workers are not being taken care of, what should we do? We should be part of fighting that, right? Part of holding that accountable. So yeah, very good. As you go throughout your life this week, think about all the people that are connected to you through the things in your life. And we're gonna sing 10:10. We give thanks. And the children and youth, we can go to our classes now.
had that slide. It's gone with the words. So, in May, the members of this community met in our annual meeting, and you all elected a board of trustees, 3 new people. And we are just so grateful that we always have this wonderful abundance of participation, both as volunteers and at our annual meetings. It probably helps that we have a meal together and people are fed, which is really, really lovely. But we are going to take the time now to offer our gratitude for the 3 outgoing members. And all that is in our order of service. And I'm going to invite the current new members and the new members to come up. So we're saying thank you. And I know Rayanne is not here; she's in Portugal. And Chris McCarrick and Nick Izzo, if you could please stand as you're able, so we can offer our gratitude. And I will tell you, they take their responsibility very seriously, and they're continuing on with our safety team, which we're very, very grateful for. So our 3 new people, if you would please come forward. Casey Taylor, as you are able. Oh, thank you, Casey. I wasn't sure if you were teaching. Cinda, are you here? Cinda Beatty? Yep, there she is. Wonderful. And Deb McGuire. Our 3 new people. And if the rest of the board could fill out, we have Jim Pashek, Maria Lauro, Kyle Gracie, Brian Junker, Jean Schmidt, Richard Doan, and I am ex officio. And I hope you brought your orders of service, because I didn't put the words on the screen. Or maybe I did. Yes, I did. Oh, golly, I don't know myself. All right, so here's a tech need. Somebody to run the slides during the service. So, this is your part. Responsive reading, Board of Trustees, yes. And the congregation, if you would please respond with the words on the screen and in the program. We, the members of the congregation of the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh, hereby install you as members of the Board of Trustees. We entrust you to uphold the best interests of this congregation and charge you with the responsibility of guiding the course of this congregation in our name. We offer you our support, our trust, and our appreciation for the work you do on our behalf. I can personally attest that these cats have gotten to work. The board has already deeply engaged in their charge. You have granted them with your trust, and they accept it with full respect and gratitude. And may you each offer your personal as well as collective affirmation. Thank you all. And Kyle Gracie is going to stay and explain what a volunteer board is.
Thank you. Good morning. So you just saw a couple of the volunteers in the church, but there are many more. So here's a little quiz. How many people, put up your hand if you're in the audience, the people on YouTube can do this too, and you volunteer at least 1 hour to this church a month or more? Okay, right? A lot of hands. And I know some of you are much, much higher than that. So if you volunteer 1 hour a month to this church, or you are interested and able to volunteer even 1 hour a month to this church, you can fill some really important volunteer roles that help to make this place happen, because this place is powered in large part by volunteers, although of course we would also not be able to do any of this without all of the staff that we have. We have started a new volunteer board, and by this time, by board, I don't mean like board of trustees, I mean like a list, to try to help get the word out about all of the volunteer opportunities that we're trying to fill right now that help to power this church. So if you saw in the newsletter last month, we started this, we rolled this out. So in the newsletter, you can see a list of some of the key different roles that we're trying to fill, volunteering on some of our different committees. If you saw the newsletter this past week, that came back. And so there's a list of some of the key committees in this church that need volunteers. Some of those only take 1 hour a month of your time to help fill them. A few of them even take less. If you want to serve on our investment committee, it only takes a few hours a year. And so that's another way that we're trying to communicate the roles and the positions that you can have, and how dependent we are on volunteer power to make all of the things that we do for each other and for the world to work. So some of the committees that were listed right now that we have an urgent need for, you heard about the tech team, so we need 1 or 2 people for the tech team. Our vision, identity, and mission committee that helps to develop our strategic plan, they need another person on their committee. Our finance committee needs another person. Our investment committee needs another person. So those are just some of the roles that we're looking for. So every month at least, we're going to give you that volunteer board so you can see the positions that are out there. And if you are interested in just exploring any of those roles, you can just fill out the form that's right in the newsletter, and that will connect you with the right committee. You're not committing necessarily to sign up right away. You're just saying, I'm interested, I'd like to know more, and then we'll help you to get plugged into the right places. If you are a committee and you want more volunteers on your committee, let me know, and we can add you to the volunteer board and add you to that sign up. So that's another way that we're trying to make it easier for everybody to get involved. And again, it's really not necessarily a big contribution of your time. So even if you've got an hour here or an hour there, you can make a difference in what we're able to accomplish together. I also want to point out some bigger roles. So as you saw in this installation ceremony, my time as treasurer is going to come to an end in the next year. So I'm going to hit my term limit. So we are looking for a new treasurer to be appointed next year, to be elected next year. So that's a little bit bigger volunteer commitment, but it's also one that I am confident there are people in this church who can do very, very well, because there are people in this church who have done this role very, very well. Some of them are sitting in this room, Klaus, Ward. So this is something that we have this great talent. So if you're interested in being treasurer in the future, please reach out to me. The board has also made it easier to be in this role in the future. So we have created the potential to split the role into an assistant treasurer and a treasurer. So if you want a little bit lower commitment, but you're still interested in volunteering here, there's a possibility for 2 of you to combine your superpowers and fill this role. So that's some other options that are available. So short message is, your time and contributions are extremely valuable here. We have a couple of really important needs on some of our committees that we want to fill as soon as we can. And if you're interested, either come talk to me or just fill out that interest form that you can find in the newsletter and on the website. Thank you.
As we prepare to accept the offering, donations by check may be mailed to the church office, and electronic donations can be made online through the church website or by texting GIVE to 412-435-1050. We continue in September to share the plate with Casa San Jose. Okay. Our joys and sorrows during the offering, during the offertory music, you're invited to light a candle or to place a stone in the Blessed Community water as you offer silent gratitude or prayers. 2 tables, there's one here and there's one in the back of the sanctuary and to the right of the platform. Okay.
Invite the ushers forward. We invite the ushers to please come forward now. My beloved, we have come together in community to connect. Many of you carry deep sorrows and concerns and grief. Many of you also carry joys, celebrations, and gratitude for all of this. Today, I want to hold up Greg Andrews, whose sister, Michelle Green, passed away this week in Florida. We're holding up Maureen Porter, who has sent a message requesting love and prayers for her daughter, Sophia, who has experienced seizures while in D.C. And Maureen is hoping to take Sophia home on Tuesday, but please send your love and prayers for healing as they experience a particularly difficult time. I invite you now into a time of silence, of meditation or personal prayer. Just find yourselves seated and breathing in this time and space, connected and in community. Spirit of love, please come into our bodies, our battered hearts, our minds filled with too much fear. Ease your way and help us heal, soften the edges where we have grown tired and weary, where we find hope is adrift. Replenish our energy, replenish our sense of that the future is still there for all of us. Help us heal the deep wounds within our personal lives and within society at large. We offer our heartfelt prayers for all the family of Charlie Kirk and condemn any sort of violence for any reason. We offer our heartfelt prayer and hard work to ease the violence in Gaza. May they find peace, and may the people of Israel and the government itself see the wisdom of finding peace and to welcome into their hearts forgiveness and love and the long road ahead. May the people here in Pittsburgh know that they are loved and not feel fear and anxiety. May the people here in these pews know their commitment to life and justice is renewed as they come together in community, beloved community, where we hold each other to be the best who we can be, in gentle acts of forgiveness and calls for reconciliation, and in the beauty that we create together. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. I invite you to stay seated as we sing our response. It's 10:10. We give thanks.
With love and care.
Our reading today is Mitochondrial Gift by the Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto. And it's from this wonderful book, in case anyone's interested, Spilling the Light, Meditations on Hope and Resistance. Our history is always with us. Across organisms, offspring receive a maternal inheritance, DNA. Strands of instructions twisted together and reaching into the future. What's the secret tucked in the folds of the tiny parts of cells? How does that keep us alive? We are each and all holding a gift of humanity, fragile, wrapped in tissue. We're connected by those gifts, generation after generation. Failure after new attempt, dream upon dream, creation from disaster. I know. You're just not sure about your place, about this time, about what, if anything, is possible. Just try to remember that the people have built splendid new futures from much less than the magic and the bequest of life that you now hold. The world's waiting for your gifts, an invitation. Don't blame yourself for being wonderful. There's no shame in this. You must instead expand and understand in the destiny of your inheritance, the here, the now, the you must fly.
I distinctly remember a particular night when my family dynamics changed dramatically. I was a high school freshman. It was in the evening. As I said, I was sitting at the dining room table with one of my older brothers, Robert. Our parents were divorced by then, and Mom was in the hospital. So they're trying to diagnose a mysterious illness. And then she called. The doctors had figured out what was wrong. She had multiple sclerosis. And in that moment, we began a long change in our relationship of total dependency. My mother was a fierce, independent woman, and she never really, though, had the freedom to choose her own path in her life. She had strong, directive parents. They moved a lot as a child. She moved so many times that she had a hard time making friends. And then she married my father, who was also a strong man, and she was only 19 and immediately began having children. And now, just barely in her 30s, and she was faced with another huge problem, not of her own making. A few weeks later from that night, my other brother and John and Robert and I, we met over Chinese lunch, and we began to plan how we were going to take care of our mother as she went from 2 legs to having a cane, to having a wheelchair, and whatever came next. Over the next, what would be 35 years. We couldn't, of course, predicted much of it, but we actually came pretty darn close to how things would unfold. As we look at the theme of the month of interdependence, I think it's valuable to look at it more in detail, in that granular level, and see how our perspective on life might influence and how we respond to this interconnected web of existence. As everyone ages, we mature, we're changing our life relationships with each other, and we shift, and those moments of more independence to interdependence to total dependence, and certainly age and our health are a huge contributing factor. But how we respond to all that, our worldview, is this something that brings loss, or is it opportunity? How do we cope with, how do we be our best self as those relationships and those tensions shift? Whatever happens, we face choices again and again and again about how to react and how to respond, and those are slightly different. Reactions come from our emotive place, immediate. Response, we take time to consider. And we all face feelings of loss and grief with one another. And perhaps we do so with recognizing it's a necessity, it's a part of life, we accept it. But can we go the next step? Can we go to a place where we see gratitude as a fundamental response to these changes in tension of independence and interdependence and total dependence? What if we recognize and actually celebrate our total dependency on each other? From birth to death, it's not a straight line. There are many variables. As a child, as a baby, totally dependent. And then we grow into more independence. Total dependence is, of course, total independence is a high American value. Self-sufficiency, individualism. The great Western frontier was created by frontiers people. Well, except that they obliterated entire populations of indigenous people. Deeply entrenched values that today, in our polarized world, many are saying have profoundly failed our country and is playing a large part in contributing to the polarization in our political and as well as our social worlds. And given our culture of fear, of violence, and the polarization, and a serious threat on our democracy, it's understandable that you may be saying, gratitude? Really, Kate? Gratitude? How can we even go there? We are being challenged, without a doubt. Can we celebrate that we're dependent upon each other when we're worried that that other individual might harm us? Can we actually feel gratitude given what we see every day in the media? I'm proposing that if we don't engage and practice gratitude, then we have much more to fear than we already are. Imagine a world without gratitude. That, to me, sounds like a deep form of despair. You heard our own children today responding with this idea of gratitude. Psychologists say that our children learn it anywhere from 7 to 8 years old. Of course, younger can express gratitude. There's a viral video out there of a baby experiencing the first time they have ice cream. Now that is gratitude. But it starts to become part of the personality and their worldview around 7 to 8 years old. My mom taught me about gratitude early on. With all of her life challenges from childhood to being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, she could have chosen anger, and there were probably times when she was full of anger and resentment, but yet she kept coming back to her fundamental theology of gratitude with grace. She got it from her mother, who got it from my maternal great-grandmother. It was passed on. It was passed on, a line of gratitude for life itself. And I believe that this is a religious response to being alive. Religious scriptures are filled with that religious impediment. Judaism, Christianity, Islam all teach that gratitude is a fundamental response to living. Buddhism teaches gratitude should be a habit, an attitude of mind. All of these are so much more than just a guide or an invitation. It's an expectation. It's almost a fundamental principle of the religious journey. And as a born and raised Unitarian Universalist myself, I inherited my theology from my maternal inheritance. As Reverend Soto wrote, a maternal inheritance, it was in my DNA. The strands of instructions were twisted together for me. And those beautiful words of gratitude that Reverend Soto wrote, they are a stunning poet with significant disabilities. And names our fragile human journey wrapped in tissue paper. Wrapped in tissue paper, and that this is a gift. We are connected through these gifts. And it's a bequest from our ancestors that are designed for the future. That gratitude is what helps propel us toward the future. My Unitarian Universalist theology of gratitude, as I grew older and more aware of just the fact that I loved ice cream, was embellished by studying process theology. I took on a touch of Buddhism and a solid helping from Taoism. And then I got a good guidance from the Reverend Galen Gingrich, who's a retired UU minister in New York. My theology of gratitude starts really with atoms. And when you pick apart those atoms of life, what's left? Mounds of atomic dust. Galen Gingrich writes this: what does this mean? The mounds of atomic dust is not you. Rather, you are the relationship among the various protons, neutrons, and electrons that make up the dust. The renowned 20th century philosopher Alfred North Whitehead believed this principle applied to everything in the universe. Everything is constituted by its relationship to other things. Everything. As one of our core Unitarian Universalist values, our living and our breathing is interdependency, is an invitation to see the enormity of the universe and all creation from the transcendent to the molecular, and do this with gratitude for our relationship to it and each other. When you really dig down and you recognize and you start to have maybe this sense of that we should be celebrating these organisms, all animate and inanimate, you really start to feel something powerful. And this is why we're here. It's a natural response. And you start to cultivate, and it's called awe. It's awe. It silences our words, and we feel it in our body and in our breath. It transcends the ordinary into the extraordinary. We have joys and the sorrows with gratitude. Gratitude, I believe, is an act of resistance to anything that would undermine being alive. But here's the thing, you can't stop. We can't stop with just gratitude. Gratitude alone is not sufficient. It too is in relationship. It's a package. Gratitude must transform. It must transform into responsibility of a care, an ethic of care to ensure that others can breathe as well. Galen Gingrich writes, if the first principle of all existence is dependence, then the deadliest of all sins is the effort to negate or disregard that principle through the myth of self-sufficiency. In this state of sin, salvation comes through gratitude. It is the means by which we remember both our identity and our duty. End quote. I am talking about gratitude as a complex layering of emotions, of love and fear and anger, all processed with a big package, that we are not doing this alone. This is not happiness. That's a dopamine hit. Comes and goes, is gone in a moment. That's a basic brain function. This is much deeper. Gratitude emerges from a natural process. You can't superimpose it upon each other. You can teach, you can invite, but if you do it because somebody told you to do it, it loses its awe. I'm talking about gratitude for the complex makeup of who we are as emotional, powerful, beautiful, atomized dust storms. This is an important message that I think Unitarian Universalists need to proclaim, that the world needs to, maybe we find better language than saying to somebody we're atomized dust storms, granted. But Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King called it to be bound up in a network of mutuality. In a network of mutuality, and again, I find myself recognizing that network with gratitude for all the extraordinary life experiences that I have been a part of. Many have been unearned. As a privileged white cisgendered woman, I have been given, and I have earned also many benefits, none of which I take for granted. Celebrating. But then to not then passionately work hard to ensure everyone has the same opportunities to make my gratitude truly worth something, to be of value. I cannot sing it into the void. I have to let it transform. I have to turn it into something more powerful. Gingrich challenges that if we are to proclaim Unitarian Universalist faith as a religious liberal people, we need to develop a coherent theology that inspires gratitude filled with awe and commitment to salvation for all. It's not superficial. This is not a Hallmark card, right? You get that. This is hard work. It's not a response to suffering, of pain. It is not a response to cruelty. That would be irresponsible. This is something much more complex. A living, giving gratitude responds to pain, but recognizes that our religious response to oppression and to injustice, to cruelty, to pain, and to death has to be cultivated on a foundation of something even more powerful than gratitude. It's what it goes to, what it transforms into, because we can do this if, and then we lead to another core you value, and I'm going to give you a package deal here. It's 2 for 1. We transform, got that one, into generosity. That's what you do with gratitude. It transforms to generosity. Every Sunday, you all walk into these doors, new people who have been here for 50 years and everything in between, into this Unitarian Universalist church. You're handed a program, you have a hymnal, you have words and a sermon and readings. And they all should be saying something powerful about who we are and our core identity. My colleague, Reverend Sherry Prudhomme, who teaches at Star King School for the Ministry, she wrote about changes to the Article 2 in the UUA bylaws when we adopted our new values. And she said, we are in an era when it's becoming clear that industrialized nations under a system of global, corporate, controlled capitalism needs to change quickly and dramatically for the benefit of all life. We will be called to experience generosity, gratitude, and hope in new ways. In new ways. And if we're not paying attention, we're going to be lost in history. So we have an invitation, and I have one for you for now. Just this morning, a small little practice. Take a deep breath with me. For what are you grateful? For what are you grateful? Maybe it's the person who's sitting close to you. Maybe it's your garden, a sunrise, a full moon, a vacation, a job, a house. Maybe it's this church. Maybe it's Ellen and her gifts. Maybe it's me. But for what are you grateful? Ponder that. And then I ask you, how do you turn that gratitude? How do you transform it into generosity? Intentional daily acts of kindness, volunteering your gifts and your time, your money. Do you give it away? Do you send a card to someone who's ill? Do you call them without making an appointment? Do you say thank you like it was a prayer every moment? if we're called to celebrate with gratitude of being a part of this world and that it's in our DNA, then we have to practice that from a place of awe, recognizing that we're part of this universe from the stars to the salamanders, and that we're co-creators. And this compels us into love, into compassion and reason, and even grace. I clearly remember standing next to my mother. She would sing beautifully in services and the hymns, her beautiful soprano, to my barely developed alto. And she always sang. Somewhere in her heart, even if her voice was not able, she was singing until she died in 2006. There she was, surrounded by books all the way to the end of her life, learning and growing, and she was surrounded by family. She never stopped loving and giving back. And she taught me that from the moment I was born to the end of her life. So I ask you now, how do you choose to respond to your days in life? How do you declare your faith? What are you singing? What are you proclaiming? How is your response to life transforming who you are? May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. I invite you to stand as you're able for closing hymn 128, For All That Is Our Life. I invite you to remain standing as we extinguish our chalice. The words are found on the screens as well as in our hearts. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go forth into the world, my beloved. Go forth into this world. Perhaps you've been transformed just a little bit this morning. Transformed. Ask yourself for what you are grateful and how you will turn that into acts of generosity. Return again with gratitude and even more love. Blessed be.